And our second main topic today comes to us from Randal Holkin, who writes, Cobra Kai is easily one of my favorite shows on TV. The way they've been able to take an old franchise like this, give it a bit of a new twist, and then produce something still really engaging is incredible. Wondering if you saw that a new trailer for season 5 just arrived with a September release date. My question is, what is it about this show that makes it work so well when a lot of other movies and shows revisit, fail, and are you excited for the new season? Thanks, and bring on the filthy. All right, Randall, thanks a lot for sending that in. Man, you wrote into the right place, because there's nobody who has a deeper love of Cobra Kai than me. That's a lie. I don't like this show. I'm the only person I know that does not like this show. In my house, I'm even in the minority, because Anne, obsessed. Like, when a new season of Cobra Kai drops, that's it. The TV is booked. I have to make a reservation to see my wife because she's not doing anything else until she binges all of Cobra Kai. She absolutely loves it. I was very excited. You remember, you and I were doing a show together back when they first announced Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
And I was very excited about it. I think the concept of it is fantastic. And, I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes and it just wasn't for me. And that's perfectly fine. So no, if you're asking me, was I excited about a new trailer? No, I wasn't personally, but I know a hell of a lot of you are. And I think it is very fortuitous today that we got Christian in the house, because Christian, they did a big event last night at the Microsoft theater, right?
Yeah.
Right down by Staples. Sorry, Crypto.
And that is a big venue.
That's a big venue.
Yeah.
And you were the host you had the whole cast there, talking to the cast, announcing the new season. First of all, tell me a little bit about that event you hosted last night, because we got a couple of pictures here too. Yeah. And then what did you think about the new trailer?
So yeah, it was. I moderated last night just to the cast, and it was great, man. They had the mat set up, and they had Eagle Fang and Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do, and I was able to bring out both Ralph Macchio and William Zabka and talk to them for like 10 minutes. And I got photobombed by William Zabka last night, which was awesome, who was just a great dude, great cast. And we talked a lot about the show, the things that I actually addressed the viewer who asked that question about what makes the show so special, and with a lot of screaming fans, and there were costume contests and trivia contests, and then they showed the trailer itself. But to answer the question, if I can, as far as why I believe this show is so special, it's the creators and what the creators have done. Both John and Hayden and Josh have put so much love into this show, and the way that we feel about Star Wars, or you feel about you used to feel about Star Trek. And
I still do.
I know, and all those things. Like that's how they feel about Karate Kid. They put so much passion and so much love into it, and I think a lot of times people take an IP and go, "Oh, well, people are going to watch that if we just do this and this," and they throw it, and they don't really put all the love into it. These guys, they know these movies inside and out. They know the characters inside and out. They love it. And they've created this just world. And even last night, this cast, like I've done events where you leave, we all have, where you left and you're like, well, that person was nice, but that person didn't seem like they really wanted to be there, and that person was kind of a jerk.
Tommy Lee Jones.
But every single one of them, and they've been doing this now 5 seasons, looked like they were having the time of their lives, and it wasn't one of these things where like, okay, we got to go find somebody because they don't want to be in the room with everybody was talking. It was like a family, and that counts when you're shooting shows.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the trailer because I went from a place where you have to understand where this show and what this show has done. It has taken 2 generations, the generation like us who's grown up with Karate Kid, and then it takes this new generation that has the younger generation who's following Miguel and Robbie and Sam and all these people, and you get on board because of that, and you able to mix both generations.
Yeah.
But you've also turned it away from. Remember, Avildsen did the first one, and it was based in reality. There's people flipping off trees and jumping off buildings. You got to accept it after you get to season 2, and because I said, wait a minute, they learn karate that fast, and you got to go with the ride. And once you go with the ride,
well, they did in the original Karate Kid as well, right? Like in the original Karate Kid, we had to just buy into Daniel learns karate pretty fast.
but a little different.
differently, yes.
These kids are ninjas. You know, there's fights in the locker room. There's in the high school. The teachers just leave and let them like fight in like a major like Warriors brawl, and I go, yeah, give me more. And it's like that's where I think it's like this fun. There's emotional moments. They've done it, and they've brought Star Wars into it. They brought Rocky into it. There's wrestling, professional wrestling. It's a great way that they've done this show, and I look forward to it every year. In September now instead of December, sign me up. Netflix needs this show right now too, by the way.
By the way, to get a little more information on this is what was written about it. This comes to us from the folks over at, if we get this brought up, there we go. From Joe Blow, they wrote the following about it. Season 5 picks up immediately after the conclusion of last season, which saw John Kreese in jail and framed for assault. His friend, who quickly turned foe, Terry Silver, is taking advantage of Kreese's absence by overhauling and expanding the Cobra Kai karate. Meanwhile, Daniel LaRusso and Chosen Toguchi join forces to help. By the way, that was the best moment in the trailer. That was a great moment in the trailer with Chosen. Join forces to bring down Terry once and for all. In the midst of all this, Johnny Lawrence and his son, Robbie Keene, are off on a mission to look for Miguel, who went off on his own to look for his biological father in Mexico. So that's where things find us. Rob, I can't remember off the top of my head. Are you down with the Cobra Kai? Have you been watching Cobra Kai?
I have been. I've not caught up. I've up through season 3. I've not watched season 4. But to extrapolate on the answer that you gave, one of the things that struck me, because it started out as a YouTube show.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the first episode. You catch up with Johnny, and you meet him. You see his life, and he's burnt out. He hasn't amounted to anything, and he's one of those guys that like, oh, my greatest defeat happened in high school, and he sees Ralph Macchio's got a car dealership, and he's on billboards. And what was really interesting to me about that is when you're following up a story within continuity, canon, if you will, the guys who made the show, because they love the show, they've extrapolated out what would the world be like 35 years later. And catching up with Johnny, I'm like, even though he was a complete schlep rock and kind of a sad sack, I loved it. I loved his portrayal. At the end of that first episode, he was a dick. Like, he was one of the great villains of teen movies in the 80s. You hated that guy. But by the end of that first episode, I was totally like sympathetic. I was on board, and he was my hero. And that's what sucked me into the show. I bought it. They didn't try and like, let's make it for the MTV generation or let's make it for millennials now. No, they actually extrapolated upon what would this guy be like in real time
today,
now. And I found that really compelling. But like you pointed out, then they brought in these younger characters. And which was, if you look at this is how Star Wars should have been done. In all honesty, you bring back the old characters. You could have even done Last Jedi and started out with Luke being sad sack Luke. You could have bought into that and start that way. Yeah, and like, why did he become this way? That would have been interesting. And then bring in the new characters. And they did what we want from all of our franchises. It's all about characters and story, and they're true to the characters. And I think I am blown away by what they've done. And like you said, it gets a little unrealistic.
You just got to go with it.
But yeah, you've bought in. I've bought in. Now they've all become Jedi. It's fine.
If only they could have made a decent show. That would have been. But I will say this though. You know what? Ann was watching it one time, and I walked in, and there was something that I thought was extremely well done. And it was, I can't remember if it was season 1. Honestly, I don't care. But it was season 1, season 2, season 3. But Johnny Lawrence is recalling the events of the original Karate Kid movie.
When he's sitting down with Miguel on the stoop.
But telling it from his point of view. Yeah. And you realize, and I love this because he legitimately, like we often talk about, every single one of us is the villain in somebody's story. And I love the fact that he sits down, like from his perception, Daniel was the dick. He was the victim of Daniel LaRusso's bullying and harassment when they were in high school. And to me, that was actually really smart and really clever the way they did that.
And they didn't have that first season on YouTube, they didn't have a lot of money to make the show.
It's funny. They had the most money that YouTube was willing to give, but it still wasn't a lot. Yeah, it's true. But and you bring up the point as far as whether it's Star Wars or anything, and I've made this point on my show a bunch of different times, is that it's the beauty of television and streaming now. Is because the difference is if you tried to do that in a 2-hour movie with Cobra Kai, they wouldn't do it.
Right.
They wouldn't do it that way because they'd be worried about the box office and what you need to show and the big tournament fights and all that.
How much you have to spend to market it and all that.
And you have more time to develop the characters, to get Johnny Lawrence and develop him the way that Star Wars television does. And the reason why we love Mandalorian, the reason why Obi-Wan, we're going to get Obi-Wan and be able to learn more about what he's doing in 6 episodes, as opposed to, well, wait, we have a 2-hour movie and we have a little bit of time for Tatooine. Now let's do big battles now, big battle, because we got to get the money and people got to feel like they're spending their money and it's got to be well worth it. And that's what happens to movies when you have more time to spend on the character. That's why I think the Cobra Kai show was able to do what they're doing. And I said it last night. I said, when I heard that, and I like the guys very much for Harold and Kumar and the American Wedding and everything that they did. And I was like, I like those guys, but these are the guys that are going to do Cobra Kai, a television show? Oh no. And then I was wrong because of the passion and the love, and they had a plan. When you have a plan, something works.
Guys, the question is for you. What did you think about the new trailer for Cobra Kai Season 5? Are you somebody who's really in with the show? Have you been following up to this point? Does this excite you? What do you think about the fact that it's going to come out in September instead of December? Whatever your guys' thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Today's episode of Movie Club is sponsored by Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer. Guys, more and more we enjoy shopping online, whether it's on our phones or our computers. And how many times have you gotten to the checkout and seen that promo code box and thought, man, if I only had a promo code, I could save some money? Well, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. So here's the situation. You're shopping online on one of your favorite sites, and when you go to checkout, the Honey button appears, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Then just wait a few seconds as Honey works its magic and searches for coupons it can find for that site that you're on, and if Honey finds working coupon, just watch the price drop. Recently, Ann and I were hanging out at home one evening and we decided to order in, and the Honey button appeared. I was able to apply a coupon and I actually saved like $6 or $7. It was that easy to use. And Honey doesn't just work on your desktop computer, it also works on your iPhone. Just activate it on Safari on your phone and save on the go. So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/movie club. That's joinhoney.com/movie club.